Hi, welcome to Web Design Project. This is a list of suggestions how you should use this video. The notes for this video is loaded. The notes for this video can be found at this URL, which is loaded here. So we are on step 3 right now. And this is where we stopped. And now we have to put in the two top banners. As you can see, this one is this image, which is 4. And this one is this image, which is 6. Okay. And they are, one of them is 6 columns. The other one is 6 columns as well in Bootstrap. Okay. So we are going to put it in one row, and they are obviously in header. So we go back to the source, which is index, and we say that in the header, we are going to have a container. So it's exactly the same. So we can just copy this container and row, Control C. In the header, we have the container and row, Control V. And we are going to, this is not going to work, so we are going to divide them into, so there are two parts, right, left and right. So, and this is so in Bootstrap you have 12 columns, okay, and then the left is 6 columns, and then the right is 6 columns, as you can see here. 6 and 6. That's why we can never cut in between two columns in the gutter. We shouldn't do that. Okay, so 6 and 6. All right, just keep that in mind. So we are going to say the left side and the right side. So the left side is going to be 6 columns, the right side is going to be 6 columns, and then we put images inside. One thing about Bootstrap is they use grid system. You can read it. It's kind of interesting. And if you use XXL, so anything that drops below 1,600, they are going to start changing. Okay, so we're going to do XXL. Okay, so to do that, we need to use a reserved word column XXL and all that. Okay, so let's say I do XXL, so I put XXL here, but if you don't want to use XXL, in this case, I don't really want to use XXL. I want to use large, because if it's XXL, it start collapsing too early. I say that. If it's 992 pixels, they start collapsing. So we're going to use 992. So we are going to use large. And remember, we say 6 and 6. So we say 6 here. And then this one is a column large 6. And then we are going to put 2 images inside. One image is 4, index 4. One is index 6. I'm going to copy this one here. 4 and 6. Okay, so we put in the 4 and the 6, and then we can do a file save. And then come over here. And reload. So we have the 2 banner here, and then when we drop below 994, they are going to collapse. okay? Because we define 6 and 6, 6, so 2 parts of the page, okay? And then we want to give it some name so later we can rename, we can refer to it. So I'm going to call this class logo. And then we are going to call this class banner. So if any reason later I want to control the layout, I can just refer to it. Okay. And then file save, come back here. There are certain things I want to do. One thing is they should be central aligned. Okay, so they should shift to the center, not to the left. And then the second thing is there should be a gap of 25 pixels here. Okay. So maybe I should just keep this guy here. Okay. So to do that, I have to go to my CSS, styles.css. We say that the location of this, which is header, container, and column large 6 or something, but or I can just use logo, that will also work as well. But if you look at it here, they actually header, container, and banner will work, or header, container, logo will work as well. Okay. So I'm just going to say header space descendant container, space means descendant, and then banner and logo is going to have a margin top of 25 pixels. And then my header container, sorry, must have space. So it's descendant, not just direct descendant, but it have multiple levels of descendant. Logo is margin top is 25 pixels. Okay, files control S to save. If you reload here, you realize there's a gap. And if they are resized, there's a gap of 25 pixels on top as well. So that goes really well. Second thing I want to take care of is the alignment here. So any column large 6, I'm going to have a text alignment of center. Control S to save, reload. So this is going to switch to the center. So that looks better. Okay. And then now we move on to the next one. The next one is this part, the main. Okay. So we say that we go back to the source code of index, the main, we are going to have 3 parts. As you can see, 3 parts. And each part obviously is 4 columns, 1, 2, 3, 4, because 4 plus 4 plus 4 will give you 12, right? So you are going to have 4 plus 4 plus 4 columns will give you a total of 12 columns. 4 bootstrap, and then let's say you want it to collapse when it's large. So you say I want it to collapse when it's fall below 1,400 pixels. That is how to name the that's how to name the class. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm just going to copy this So this is our first row. Okay, and then we have the second row. If you want, you can name your rows, but right now we are fine. And I want to just copy this. So this is one of the image. And we already say that we are going to call the image XXL4. Okay, and the first image is called 10, second is 12, and then 14. Okay, 10, 12, 14. So the first image is called 10. Okay, the second image is also 4, so I'm just going to copy this. And that is going to be called 12. And third image is going to be called 14. Okay, and that is my first row. File save. Reload. As you can guess, I will have to deal with. So this is XXL. I'll have to put spaces there. Okay, 25 pixels, because when I design, I just use 25 pixels, easier to remember. So they're going to be there. When you drop below 144, they are going to be 3. They are going to drop to 1. Okay, but realize this guy did not drop to 1 because this one is large. Large is 994. So they are only going to drop when you drop below 994, which this one has already dropped. Okay, so this is a way to look at it and to think, hey, maybe I should make this one drop slightly differently from So when you go to large, I wanted to have something else. Okay, so instead of directly go to 1, I want it to be 2. Okay, so what I want to do is I want this to be, when you drop below 1400 pixels, okay, more than 1400, I want it to be 3 parts, which obviously this one will take care of that. But when it's 994 to 1400 pixels, I want it to be 2 parts. Then I will need to use column large 6, because we know that 6 plus 6 is 12, right? And then when it's below 994, which is 1 part. Okay, so we need a column large 6 here for that. Okay, keep that in mind. Let's do the second. Let's do the second row first, and then we talk about that. Okay. So for the second row, it's pretty straightforward. 2 images. We don't have the third one. So the 2 images would be 18 and 19. Okay. So I'm just going to copy this. 18, 19. And look, realize this one has a gap, so we don't have anything. I'm just going to delete it. Control S to save. Reload. Okay, remember I wanted to drop to 6. 6 means, sorry, column 6 means 6 columns means 2 parts here, instead of directly jump to 1. So here I'm going to add 6 in between 994. These numbers, I'm referring to it as the Bootstrap, 992. Okay, Bootstrap Grid System 992. In between 992 to 1400, I only want 2 parts. So 992. So here I'm going to add another class. Control S to save. So we come over here. So it become two parts, okay? Okay. All right, it doesn't look very nice, but it's good enough, okay? All right, so a couple of things to do. One thing is we are going to create a gap of 20 pixels. Second is the alignment. Let's take care of the alignment first, shall we? Alignment need to be centered. So we come over here, we say Control S to save. Okay, so the alignment is center. Second thing is the gap, okay? So we need to create some gaps here. So if you look at this part is main.container.row column large 6 with a sibling of column xx4. So large 6 probably will work. So we're just going to come here. We're just going to type it in. Main.container .row. Sorry. Space. Main space.container space.row space. We can put the column XXL4. We can skip it. Both are fine. There's no space here. Realize that they are not descendants. Okay, they are like siblings. So we say that we have a margin of Control S to save. Reload here. It works. Shrink. It works. One column on the phone. It works. Okay. All right. One last thing before I move on. I forgot something. Realize that we are not going to use this as images. We are technically going to use this as links. So I have to wrap a link around it. So instead of doing an image, I have to do a pound sign, and not to forget to wrap a. So I have to do this, okay? Not to put an A here, but to put an A at the back. So I'm going to do this for all my images. I probably should have done it before I even copy, but because they are going to be links for people to click on. And probably is a good idea to validate. So now they are links. Okay, they are clickable. So later when you create sub pages, you just link them. So I did so many things. So probably it's a good idea to just check the CSS. and check the index. Okay. Oh, I've been coding a lot, so I think it's a good place to stop here, and we are going to be back soon for the next video. Thanks for watching. See you soon.